Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Within Modern Warfare 3 here, we obviously have a pretty good selection of new MW3 specific weapons. While yes, we do have all the carryover content from MW2, we've got the 36, 37 new weapons from MW3 as well. And with that today, I wanted to give you guys the rundown on every single gun in the game and give you guys the chance to have the best class setup for every single gun in the game. And this is actually something that isn't just relevant now as we're, just about to head into season 1. It'll be relevant going into season 1, season 2, season 3, so on and so forth all throughout the year. So as we get into it, if you enjoy the video, if you find it helpful at all, do me a favor and drop a like on it. It would be seriously appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, you want to guarantee that every single day you are up to date with all things going on in Call of Duty, whether it's MW3 or Warzone, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But obviously, if we're just straight up talking the Modern Warfare 3 meta, I'm sure plenty of you guys are familiar with our tier list where we have every single gun in the game ranked from, best to worst. We got our absolute meta options that are going to be standouts. If you use these, you're going to be dominating the lobbies. The competitive choices in terms of weapons that are overall pretty good, you can do well with them. They're just not the true best in the game. The more mediocre or below average weapons that are just all right, and then things that you want to stay away from, which really is just the Sidewinder right now, if I'm being honest with you. But we have this, and this gives you a general idea of what weapons are going to be the go-tos. But obviously, going into the details here, this doesn't show you the full-on class setups. And on top of that, in game, obviously we've already gone through a handful of the best guns already for MW3, and we'll be doing the same going into Warzone here. But you look at the tier list versus the setups in game, and while yes, the ACR or the MCW as it's known is going to be a great choice, and my preferred setup, for instance, consists of the MK3 reflector, the ELO sight, super clean in my opinion, the A9 Venom stock for the better mobility that you're getting, making this a bit more versatile and like a hybrid AR for all kinds of engagements, close range, mid-range, long range, choke angled grip for better control, but also some better movement speed, Cassis brake for better horizontal control, and the second line Mammoth heavy barrel for better range and velocity. That's just still part of the overall class setup. And you can apply this to a bunch of different weapons. If you wanted the Renetti setup, sure, we've got the attachments here fine and ready, and we'll go through these in videos in the future as well, breaking them down in depth and in detail. But if you already have a setup that you prefer and you're just looking at that meta tier list and saying, okay, the MCW is great, the BAS-B is great, what about the other components of the class setup? Well, then we got to go in game for this, for instance. And what's convenient, at least with multiplayer right now, is I'm pretty much running the same setup in terms of perks and equipment across the board. There are some universal great choices here. So for vests, for me, infantry is always going to be a great choice. Increasing that tac sprint duration and reducing that refresh time of it means you're going to be tac sprinting more. And that's obviously clutch for maneuvering, flanking, getting to choke points, using movement to win gunfights. That's super, super clutch there. The other vest that I personally find to be very useful is the CCT comms. This is going to basically be a mini UAV for you as long as you're playing aggressive. Every time you end up getting a kill, an enemy's going to drop an intel pack. If you go over that, it's going to give you that radar ping as you walk over that. So a mini UAV or a portable radar constantly. However, with the CCT comms, obviously you do lose your tactical and your lethal. You actually end up gaining an extra gear slot though, so keep that in mind. Infantry though has sort of been my mainstay from day one, and it's working really well. As far as your equipment goes with tacticals and lethals, in this game stuns are still super powerful even against things like tac mask or the equivalent in this game. They're going to be rough. Smokes obviously for breaking off choke points, for maneuvering around the map can be pretty good, and then even snapshots as well are very solid as well. But for me, stuns are going to be the most impactful in any given gunfight, so those are pretty much what I'm running on every single best setup I have. Then for lethals, Semtexes as well, just because they're so efficient at pushing players out of camping spots, being able to breach different choke points, whether it's flags or hard points, whatever it may be. Great choice there as well. Now for field upgrades, it's kind of a back and forth here. I think the main standouts really are going to end up being the portable radar, the munitions box, and then also dead silence, which currently is an unlock for obviously the armory, which is a bit unfortunate. But depending on what you're running with your other gear is probably going to determine what you're using for your field upgrade. If you're using the CCT comms vest, then obviously a portable radar would not be ideal. If you're using dead silence boots, you don't need the dead silence field upgrade. If you like going on streaks and you're always running out of ammo, obviously the Muni is going to be a great choice there. For me, the Muni is the mainstay. And then talking gloves, boots, and gear here. For the gloves, I really feel like only a couple of these end up being all that useful. In Warzone, something like quick grip is going to be better for the weapon swap speed since you'll have overkill with 2 primaries a lot. In MW3 multiplayer though, you have a pistol as your secondary a lot, or a melee. Swapping to those is not a huge deal unless you're always picking up weapons off the ground, so it's a decent option but not really a mainstay. For me, marksman and assault are the two go-tos. Marksman, especially if you're using snipers, marksman rifles, semi-auto weapons, is going to be clutch for reducing that flinch if you're getting shot, and the aim sway as well. Most weapons in this game aren't too bad of sway though, so that's why I personally use the assault gloves. More accuracy and better ADS time when you are jumping, so if you're jump shotting a lot in game, using that movement to your advantage, these are just going to enhance that and make that even more lethal. I also love the tack pads. These are going to make it so that slide canceling is a bit more efficient in my opinion. You're never going to be interrupted by the tack stance when you are sliding. If you happen to ADS, you can fully ADS while sliding, which is huge going into a gunfight. It's also better transition speeds when you're crouched, so that's phenomenal for better movement. Also though, covert sneakers, dead silence. If you're playing search and destroy certain modes, or you just don't want enemies to hear your footsteps, this is going to be the obvious choice for that as well. And then for gear, I'm always running bone conduction headset, allowing me to hear enemy footsteps better, enemy gunshots better, and reduce noise coming from my own player. That's going to be clutch for giving me that vital intel in game that can tell me when and where enemies are going to be pushing and whatnot. So that's sort of a no-brainer for me. So between the tier list, we now know what weapons are going to be meta, what weapons we want to focus on. Between the more so universal options for your perks and gear here, we know what to be running on every setup, but how about every single gun in the game? If you wanted to use the MTZ1 game, and then let's say the AMR9 for whatever reason the next, and then, you know, the DG58 LSW the next, what is the go-to setup if you're flipping from game to game or going for camo challenges? Well, I've got you covered there as well. Hey everyone, in case you're planning on jumping into some Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer or zombies action here, or waiting for that Warzone integration with Season 1, trust me when I say jumping in with some G Fuel by your side is going to make the experience that much better. If you're grinding out the new weapon levels, going for the mastery camos, whatever the case may be, get that added boost. Right now, G Fuel has a bunch of new collaborations out, plenty of tubs and starter packs if you're looking to try a flavor for the first time, maybe restock on your favorites. They got a little bit of something for everyone. Throw in code IMMORTAL at checkout, by the way, and you'll get yourself a nice little discount. Link for that will be down in the description below. This is my official CODmunity page, or my Warzone loadout page. If you guys are on Twitter, you may follow the Warzone loadout account. Super useful and great tool for having readily available and easy to view loadouts. And I've actually gone through, taking the time, obviously now that I've mastered basically every single gun in MW3. I've got Interstellar on all my MW3 guns, Borealis as well within zombies. I know these guns, I've used them all, you know, a ton now. I've gone through and made a loadout for every single base weapon in the game for MW3, and obviously as we see new seasons drop or new weapons implemented, we're going to see this number go up and up and up every season, and this is something I'll be keeping up to date. So I will leave a link to this page down in the comments below, or down in the description below rather, if you want to bookmark this or just have it readily available if you want to go and check it out. And you can see every single weapon in the game for MW3 I've got the best setup available for. So with the SVA, you want to use this muzzle, this underbarrel, optic stock, rear grip, so on and so forth. And you can actually sort this as well. If you're looking for versatile weapons, which admittedly is the majority of weapons in the game, you can scroll through and find weapons for different LMGs that are a bit more versatile, some shotguns that are a bit more versatile. If you're looking for, you know, snipers specifically, we can go through and there's setups for the Cat AMR and the longbow, all readily available. And especially this year, since there is no tuning available, it's even more, you know, direct and straightforward and easy to comprehend these. Clearly on the Cat, I like using this optic, this laser. You don't have to worry about, okay, but do I tune the laser for this, or how do I tune the optic, whatever the case may be. You can go through and very quickly and very easily have all these readily available. You can even sort by categories. If you just want to view the you know, assault rifles, for instance, you've got all 6 current ones in the game readily available for consumption, and you can just copy and paste these setups nice and easy. I do believe they have apps for, you know, iPhone and Android as well. So if you're looking for every single setup in the game, obviously as weapons are buffed and nerfed, we may need to change things around and switch to this barrel or to this compensator. I'll be updating these setups every time something major happens, so they're always up to date. And obviously once Warzone and the integration drops as well with all the MW3 guns, I'll be putting all my new Warzone best loadouts here as well and keeping that up to date, so the information is readily available for you guys. So I've got you covered with literally the best class setup for every gun in the game, every situation you might be in. Hopefully this helps explain this in a more you know, broad overview, so you have the details readily available. That being said, that's gonna wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. It would be really appreciated. And if you're new here, you want to guarantee that every single day you are up to date with all things going on in COD, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. I'll catch you later. Peace out.